You may not be psychically prepared or thick-skinned enough for whatever consequences would ensue as a result of too early an exposure. Hello and welcome. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'm so glad that you're there on the other side. Today I want to share with you kind of a journal entry written actually only a few days ago, and it's about invisibility being a superpower. Certainly not at all times, not in all situations, but when it comes to self-exploration, when it comes to tapping into that well of, that well of kind of endless resources and possibilities of who we can be, that well of transformation, really. I think in that sense, invisibility is indeed a superpower because it allows us to experiment in a most free way and is itself, I think, a vehicle for freedom. So here we go. Invisibility is a superpower. Be visible for God and yourself. No need to perform, so much more relaxing. By the way, when I say God, I clearly don't mean like a man in the sky, that type of, perspective. It's a much more transcendent and organic perspective at the same time. So I'll leave that to you. I'm not going to go into that now, right? Just know that that's how I'm naming it, but you could say like the universe, you could say art, you could say, anything that kind of would connect you to that, that energy, that field, that grace, that thing that we all have access to, from deep within. So here we go. That internal guidance system, we could call it that. So let me start again. Invisibility is a superpower. Be visible for God and yourself. No need to perform, so much more relaxing. Aim to be invisible so you can be a vessel, and in that way you will shine appropriately and not in a wannabe way. Even if you are a performer, a show person, aim to serve, to gift, to be a vehicle for what wants to be expressed through you, but with no pretensions or excessive judgment on your part on it being amazing or terrible or whatever. Strive to make it better, and a great degree of self-respect and stability will come from that. But that's it, right? That's where it ends, kind of thing. So don't idolize yourself or others, for that matter. This is all for God, art, literature, the universe, however you frame it. If you ever feel invisible, as in rejected, remember that rejection is indeed protection. You may not be psychically prepared or thick-skinned enough for whatever consequences would ensue as a result of too early an exposure, right? So you need to become more solid first. Trust yourself more. Know who you are better. Experience your resilience multiple times before embarking on riskier ventures that would set you back on your progress if you were not, adequately prepared. Fame. Fame can be a beast that is hard to tame, and it can mess you up if you're still vulnerable to your ego in certain ways. Never crave fame. Aim to be respected, sure, but that starts with you. So invisibility is a superpower, as it gives you so much freedom to explore and make mistakes and learn and be joyful. Don't waste it. Use it as the resource that it is. God is not visible as such and must be looked for in the small details. Live there yourself. Pay attention to the littlest of your actions and intentions. That's where the real deal is. Know and appreciate what you do when no one is watching. This is a classical one, but a really good one. Know and appreciate what you do when no one is watching. What a delicious self-esteem will come from that. From not needing others to see just how good you are, because you just are. No big deal. Of course, we all want to be seen and shown a little appreciation for our efforts, and there will be people to cheer us on along the way. The biggest joy of all, though, when we seek to see others, when we look for ways to see rather than be seen, when we appreciate just because we do and just because that's who we are, with absolutely no expectation of getting anything back. Virtue is its own reward, they say, and rightly so. Not giving out of a secret expectation to be appreciated, because that's another vibe altogether, right? We all do it in certain situations or with certain people, and those are opportunities to examine the whys. Why do we do that? What is our agenda, at a particular instance? How can we become more conscious, and are we willing to rectify this pattern in us? Those are big questions with no easy answers. They are lifetime sized. They bring pain and meltdown and drama, right? But they also cleanse and clear the way. They form a path of truth rather than illusion. I was talking about illusion very recently in my last in the last episode. They transform you into the most nourishing and joyous person you will ever be, provided that you stay honest in your pursuit of self-knowledge and act according to what each new stage on this path requires. What you'll experience is a knowing joy, a sense of awe and devotion, humbling you up like no other and freeing you up like no other. No more pretense, no more desperado performance, no more look at me claims to visibility. You have become a channel. You have created the space in which to embody your spirit. You have followed your soul, the call of your soul. So are you free? Well, you are at least freer than you've ever been. You've got something to teach and a torch to pass, right? So if that's the case, what more can we ask for, right? What a rich, worthy life. So this is a short one. I wanted to read this to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this invites some reflection. If that's the case, you are more than welcome to share it with me in the comments, and I would love to hear if any of this resonates with you. I'm sending you much love, and I'll catch up with you very soon. All the best. Bye.